So I mentioned this in another video, but I lost my dad in 2014, which is, what is it? 11 years ago? I had to do the math in my head there for a second. And it's funny how memory and consequences and just overall, like, that thought process of, I know this could happen, but it won't happen to me. As much as we say, like, I'll be different, oh, that'll change my way or whatever, I think that it's not that simple. And let me explain. So I remember back in 2014 when the first like scare of my dad being sick, he went to the hospital and there was a guy who was probably in his 40s, maybe 50s. I don't really remember. He might have been in his 40s. And he was in the hospital because he was having like liver or kidney failure, something like that, because he had drank too many energy drinks. And I don't remember what the number was. It was something kind of crazy. But I think he had said the brand, which I'm not going to say, but basically he had drank so many energy drinks that his like body couldn't take it. Now up until that point, I had drank at least two a day, sometimes three depending. I was working 10 to 13 hour shifts 5 days a week, and it was a lot. Pretty high paced, high demand sales support work. So it was a lot, very stressful. People kind of yelling at you for things and things like that. It wasn't great. So after that, I kind of just went off, said, you know what, that's not great. My dad then passed, and I was like, oh man, like I need to get my stuff together because I don't want this to be me at an early age. Like, I want to see when I have kids, I want to see when they grow up, I want to be there for my family, all that kind of stuff. As the years went on, that feeling and memory is always still there, but it starts getting more foggy. It starts kind of not fading away, but just becoming less at the front of your mind and thoughts, which makes sense. As things pass, we kind of forget them, and memory has a funny way of kind of changing as things go, which is the reason why having stuff like this and videos and things that we do for our kids now, like family videos and things like that, we're bringing that back because we're not going to remember that trip, but or at least the finer details of it. But we can watch a video on it. We do that all the time, and it's really great to be like, oh yeah, remember that, or oh look how small they were. You never really remember how small they were, the kids, until you see them in a video from 5 years ago, or what they sounded like, things like that. You just kind of forget it a little bit, or just don't remember it as well. Everything gets a little fuzzy, and I imagine as I get older, that'll happen even more. But basically, I stopped drinking energy drinks. At one point, I stopped drinking caffeine at all the way, and then it kind of slowly crept back in. Now, fast forward to last year, the end of last year, I was we were having energy drinks again, probably about once or twice a day. So, 10 years later, and it was a slow, gradual upswing to it that not fully part of the energy drink issue, but it contributed, was my liver was starting to have issues. It always had kind of underlying issues, but now it was having some real like medical concern issues. My blood sugar level was starting to get messed up, and there were some other concerns as well. So what we ended up doing is saying, you know what, cut it all out, start eating healthy, which we've done, and checked the levels, and I think it was like 4 months, and they were all going down. They were in the right direction, or they were in the right values. And then, as I talked about in another video, I had to go on ADD medication again, which is funny because I actually forgot to take it this morning, a couple hours later, and I was like, I can't figure out why I just can't focus. And then I realized my memory kicked in like that, and I realized, oh yeah, I didn't take my medicine this morning because the morning was chaotic. We had to get everybody to school. So that happened. And then we, so we, yeah, I missed it because we were running around crazy. But something that's creeped back up again, or something that's creeped back up again, is energy drinks and caffeine. So when I went on the medication, I actually had to stop taking caffeine, and it wasn't super hard at first because it was making me super jittery and shaky. But as we progressed to different medications to find what worked best, some of them allowed me to have some caffeine, some of them I couldn't have caffeine. And it wasn't like it said you can't have it. It was more like when I took it, I just was like jittery the entire time. So, and I still couldn't focus then. So the medication I'm on now, I can have like a little bit of caffeine, but what's crept back in again are those energy drinks. And part of it is the coffee was making my stomach like sour, and I think it was the acidity. So we stopped. The grocery store ran out of the whole beans that we normally get. We usually grind our beans fresh and then put it in the coffee pot and do all that. We bought pre-ground stuff, and for some reason, I don't know what it is, but that stuff messed up my stomach to the point where like it would make me throw up. And it's not like I'm not being dramatic about it. Like I just would start feeling sick, and I realized that it was happening because we were drinking this other coffee. So we went back to the stuff that we normally drink, perfectly fine. I'm having 1 cup a day at this point. However, today I did have an energy drink and I have 1 cup of coffee, which I seem to be fine at this point, but it's crept back up again. And it's interesting because a lot of the stuff I was doing like 4 months ago kind of has slowed down a little bit. And it's not like I don't know. I realize that like I'm putting myself back in another bad situation, but I'm having trouble remembering it. And so what I've been doing is I've been putting things around to remind me. Post-it notes, sticky notes, reminders in my phone to like say, hey, make a good choice, or hey, don't do this, or hey, if we're going out, maybe I should grab something that isn't full of bread and, stick with something that has more veggies in it. Make sure I get at least a couple servings of vegetables every day. I tried going back to my high fiber cereal, but I was having trouble with it because it tastes disgusting. It tastes like eating cardboard. Instead of like eating a full bowl of it, I cut it down to like a quarter cup, but it expands, so it makes you feel fuller longer. So basically my technique for having to try to get myself back on track is reminders wherever I can put them. If it's on my desk, if it's on my phone, if it's posted on the refrigerator, if it's an alarm, even like pre-making meals, having that available is another thing. Making sure I've got the healthy stuff like frozen vegetables. So like in a hurry, I can't be like, oh, well, I just don't have time for it. Throw them in the microwave them for a minute, good to go. Throw some hot sauce on it, and I got a healthy meal, or tuna, or whatever it might be. Something that's quick, easy to do. I think what I'm going to start doing is tracking what I'm eating again, because honestly, out of laziness, and if I'm saying I have to log something, if it's too much of a hassle to log it, I just won't eat it. So that actually works really well. I actually have to put my step counter back on. I'm about to do a step competition again, and so I need to do that as well. But really, it's just like, it's not necessarily remembering or keeping myself in check. It's more of like, what I found to work is putting those physical reminders around. Obviously, not buying things like cookies and pop. Pop was a big thing too. We were drinking Coke Zero, and that was kind of messing me up. because we were going through like a 24 pack, like the big cube pack, a week. Like we were drinking a lot of it. So now we're back to water and like seltzers here and there, which I know are bad for your teeth and all that. But at least it's something, and it's better than drinking the actual soda for the sugars and things like that. So right now, that's kind of where I'm at with that. Hopefully, all these work and I can kind of get the health back in the right direction. Because again, it's not like I don't know what the end result is. I do. But somewhere in the back of my head, I'm like, well, that won't happen. But the truth is it might, sooner than I think. So the best thing I can do is keep trying to remind myself to remind myself.